Okay, alright. I'm so excited, I don't know why. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the top 5 reasons you shouldn't go vegan. Debunked. Yes. So, as you guys probably know, I myself am vegan. However, I reached out to you guys on my Instagram page and I asked you what is your main reason behind thinking that we shouldn't be vegan or why you can't go vegan. I got over 2,500 comments, so it took me a few days to go through them all, not gonna lie. However, I have narrowed it down to the main top 5 reasons. So I just thought we could all have a chat about those top reasons today, because there's a lot of misinformation about veganism out there, and I hope that I can somewhat enlighten you so that misinformation is gone. Number 1, we are designed to eat meat. I got this one a lot on my post, people pretty much saying we're designed to eat meat, it's natural to eat meat, we're omnivores, and I get it. I totally get it. I was on the exact same page only a few years ago. When deciding on how I should approach answering this, I tried to break down what people mean exactly by we are designed to eat meat. Usually it falls under 2 different categories, our physiology and our psychology. Before we get into that, I think the main reason people think we are designed to eat meat is because they think we've always been doing it, and they look back to our ancestors. It seems to be common knowledge that our paleo ancestors were the ideal diet to follow. They were the ones that grew and evolved into the strong humans that we are today, and it's also commonly thought that they had majority of their calories coming from meat. However, recent studies are actually showing that they had a lot more fiber in their diet than we originally thought.
In the US, we tend to get less than 20 grams of fiber a day, only about half the minimum recommended intake. But in populations where many of our deadliest diseases are practically unknown, rural China, rural Africa, they're eating huge amounts of whole plant foods, up to 100 grams of fiber a day or more, which is what it's estimated our Paleolithic ancestors were getting based on dietary analyses of modern-day primitive hunter-gatherer tribes and by analyzing coprolites, human fossilized feces. In other words, paleo poop. For over 99% of our existence as a distinct species, our gastrointestinal tract has been exposed to the selective pressures exerted by a fiber-filled diet of whole plant foods.
So it turns out that our paleo ancestors were getting more fiber than the average American now. Evolution occurred due to an increase of calories, and it looks like most of those calories were actually coming from fibrous foods such as starch, potatoes, root vegetables, yams, etc. I'm not trying to say that they didn't eat meat, because yes, they did eat meat. They were scavengers. They practically ate whatever they could get their hands on. However, the debate really is what is ideal for humans to eat? Because right now in society we are naming ourselves omnivores, meaning that is ideal for our body to consume both plants and meat. Now let's look at our physical make. Pretty much everything about us points us to being more of a herbivore than an omnivore or a carnivore. Physically, the closest animal in nature to us would be a monkey, chimpanzee, the ape family. They are naturally frugivores, they live off predominantly fruits. However, the difference between us is that we have the enzymes and the ability to break down and digest starches. If you look at our mouth and jaw, we are completely different to an omnivore or a carnivore. Our mouth goes in a grinding motion, whereas carnivore and omnivores only go up and down. Our teeth structure is completely different, as you can see. Unlike omnivores and carnivores, we do not have protein receptors on our tongue. We do have salt receptors, however, so that's why when you add salt to meat or something like that, or salt to anything really, it tastes much better. The stomach of an omnivore and carnivore has a pH level of around 1, whereas ours usually is about 4 to 5. Theirs is much more acid forming because it needs to be able to break down meat and bones, so therefore their stomach is built for that. Ours, on the other hand, is much more alkaline and we don't have that acidity naturally. The intestinal tract of an omnivore or herbivore is usually around 4 to 6 times the length of their torso. However, with herbivores it's usually around 10 to 12 times the length. Humans sit in the herbivore range when it comes to that. Because our digestional tract is so long, we need lots of fiber to be able to move through and keep everything moving and push through so that we can easily go to the bathroom each day. However, omnivores and carnivores will not have a problem with that. They can eat just meat and they will still have perfect bowel movements because their digestive system is set up for that. People that don't have enough fiber in their diet can often suffer from constipation, IBS, Crohn's disease, and many other problems that come down to the bowels. Another huge factor here is cholesterol. Now, cholesterol can only be found in animal products. Herbivores and humans, we actually don't need any extra cholesterol. We make all the cholesterol that we need inside of us. So when we start getting it from foods such as animal products, we run into a lot of health problems like heart disease. Heart disease is our #1 killer in the world, so it is extremely common, and that is because we are acting as omnivores rather than herbivores.
This is not a slice of pizza, but could perhaps be thought of as the result of too many slices of pizza. This is what the inside of our major arteries look like in an advanced stage of atherosclerosis, lined with fat and cholesterol. The disease begins during early childhood, progressing unrecognized for several decades to its often final and unexpected endpoint of chest pain, disability, or simply death.
When you look at true omnivores and carnivores, they do not run into this problem. They can eat as much meat as they like. They will not develop heart disease. Now, the idea omnivore means that we need both meat and plants to thrive. However, it's been proven time and time again that a vegan diet is 100% adequate. We can live off 100% plants. However, we most definitely cannot live off 100% animal products. So physically, we definitely line up towards being a herbivore over an omnivore or a carnivore. Now let's look at it from a psychological point of view. And by that I mean mentally what's going on up here. Now, I don't know about you, I love animals. Personally, I would never want to inflict pain on one myself. I definitely couldn't bring myself to kill one. Have you ever thought about why we keep dogs, cats, and budgies as pets, and yet we kill cows, pigs, and chickens for food? The only real difference between these animals is what society has told us. Because I know when I see a baby pig, I go, oh, it's so cute, and I want to pick it up and I want to cuddle it. And you might be saying, well, that's a baby. Of course you're going to say that about a baby. But any natural omnivore or carnivore would actually go for a baby because it's easy target. So they see that as food, whereas we see it as a companion. We admire animals. There is literally nothing more horrifying I could possibly think of than going up to an animal and trying to kill it with my bare hands, or even tools that I've created, and then skin it and eat it and turn it into food somehow. If you think that eating meat is natural, then I beg you to look into how we are actually breeding these animals and how we are actually killing these animals, because it's not like we're going out and hunting a few every week or so. We are breeding billions and billions of animals every single year to kill them. They're just a product. They don't have a life. It's not the circle of life. There's nothing natural about what's going on. Number 2, deficiencies. So scrolling through my posts, I noticed that a lot of people seem to be worried about deficiency. And to be honest, these are all perfectly reasonable questions and worries. I myself had most of these worries as well before going vegan. So I just picked the top 3 that were most mentioned in my Instagram comments to run through with you guys today. First one is protein. Where do you get your protein from? It has to be the top question that you get when you're vegan. The truth is, are you ready for it? Protein can be found in all whole foods. Protein is particularly high in foods like beans, legumes, tofu, but everything has protein, so as long as you're getting enough calories, you will be definitely getting enough protein. If you are worried about not getting enough of any nutrients, you can go onto the site chronometer.com and put in all of your food, and it will show you everything that you've eaten that day and break it down to make sure you're getting enough. Every single day I hit my protein requirements by lunchtime. Actually, have you ever heard of someone being protein deficient? That's because it's not a thing. Protein deficiency is not a thing. Unless, however, you are dying of starvation, then you'll be lacking in protein, just like you'll be lacking in every other nutrient and macronutrient. Not only that, but the protein from plant foods actually much healthier for you. You have to start looking at foods as package deals. When you eat meat, yes, you are getting protein. However, you have to look at everything else you're getting with it. The cholesterol, the saturated fat, the hormones, even antibiotics, all of which you do not want in your body. However, when you get your protein from plants, you get nothing but benefits along with it. You get the fiber, you get the water, you get the nutrients, the vitamins, the minerals, only good stuff. According to my Instagram comments, a lot of you guys are finding it hard to give up eggs because you think they're such a really good dense source of protein and that they're overall healthy for you. However, when you look at the science and the studies, it actually shows that eggs are far more harmful than people think they are.
This is some egg company trying to put out a brochure on healthy snacking for kids. But because of existing laws against false and misleading advertising, the head of USDA's Poultry Research and Promotion Programs reminds them that you can't couch eggs or egg products as being healthy or nutritious. Can't say eggs are low in saturated fat. They're not. Can't say they're relatively low in fat. Can't even call them a rich source of protein because they're not. Can't say eggs are healthful. Certainly can't say they're healthy. Have you seen how much cholesterol there are in those things? Can't truthfully say eggs are good for you. Can't say they're good for you by law. The egg corporations aren't even allowed to say things like, eggs are an important part of a well-balanced, healthy diet on an egg carton, because it would be considered misleading.
Calcium. Everyone seems to be really concerned about calcium, that they're not going to get enough from the vegan diet because dairy has been promoted as the biggest source of calcium, and that you all need to have dairy, otherwise you're going to get really weak bones, when it's simply not the case.
The calcium in dark green leafy vegetables like kale, broccoli, bok choy is absorbed about twice as well as the calcium in milk, and there's a bonus: fiber and folate, iron and antioxidants, and the bone health superstar vitamin K. We won't find any of those in milk. What you do get as a bonus to the calcium in milk is saturated butterfat, cholesterol, lactose, and antibiotics, pesticides, pus, and manure.
It is super easy to meet your calcium requirements on a vegan diet. Like I said, Chronometer is a really good website that'll be able to help you out with that. I hit my calcium requirements every single day without any problems. Dark leafy greens, nuts and seeds are especially high in calcium, so if you are having problems with your calcium for some reason, make sure you're eating enough of those. What about iron? Vegetarians and vegans are definitely pinned as being low in iron or not ever having enough iron. Meat is known as the biggest source of iron and the best source of iron, when studies actually show that you're better off getting your iron from plants than you are from meat, because they're two actual different types of iron.
It is commonly thought that those who eat plant-based diets may be more prone to iron deficiency, but it turns out they're no more likely to suffer from iron deficiency anemia than anybody else. This may be because not only do those eating meat-free diets tend to get more fiber, magnesium, vitamins A, C, and E, but also get more iron. But the iron found in plants is non-heme iron. Those eating meat-free diets don't get much of the heme iron found in blood and muscle, which may be a good thing. The avoidance of heme iron may be one of the key elements of plant-based protection against metabolic syndrome, may also be beneficial in lowering heart disease risk.
Fun fact, I was actually looking at my blood test the other day, and I only realized this now, that my iron was far lower before I became vegan than it is now that I've been vegan for 3 years. So I found that really, really interesting. It just goes to show that just because I was eating meat every single day, in every single meal pretty much, doesn't mean I was getting in the iron, doesn't mean my body was absorbing it well. So clearly my body absorbs it much better from plant foods, which is great. As long as you're eating enough calories from the right foods, from a balanced vegan diet, you shouldn't have any problems with iron. I find it quite ironic because even for me, before I went vegan, I was so worried about all these different deficiencies and, not getting enough on a vegan diet. However, I was eating foods on a daily basis that are directly linked to the world's biggest killers: heart disease, diabetes, cancer, stroke. Even the World Health Organization has come out and said that red meat is carcinogenic to humans, and processed red meat is a probable carcinogenic. The thing that I found the most alarming when reading through the World Health Organization site, there was a question there saying, how much meat is safe to eat? The risk increases with the amount of meat consumed, but the data available for evaluation did not permit a conclusion about whether a safe level exists. Wow. So, if it is your health you're worried about, you don't need to worry about deficiencies on a vegan diet. If anything, I would be much more concerned about the health implications that have been directly linked to animal products. Number 3, my parents won't let me go vegan. Now, I'm only going to quickly cover this one because I have done a whole video on it, and so have a lot of other great YouTubers, which I can link down below. My top advice for this one is to be collect and calm and consistent with your parents. You have to remember that when you want to change your diet, you may be directly insulting them and questioning their way of life and their way of raising you. So you need to be prepared for rejection. They might say no the first time or the first 50 times. It's pretty safe to assume that your parents are going to think that you have no idea what you're talking about. So you need to back up your facts. You need to find medical information that supports your arguments. You need to show them doctors and documentaries and studies. It sounds like it might be a little bit of work, but it's really not that bad at all. It's actually quite easy to find out all of this information. I will link down below as many resources as I can for you guys please read them and learn. It's fun to learn about these things as well. And then you will definitely be able to come back and talk to people about veganism without, not knowing what to say or being confused about a certain topic. You will just have confident replies, and that will definitely give your parents confidence in you as well, and they will more likely allow you to try veganism. Number 4, I like the taste of meat. I totally understand where you're coming from. I was exactly the same. Meat used to be my favorite food. I thought that it wasn't a meal without meat. As a former meat lover, I can tell you that I do not miss meat. And that's because when I think about it, I didn't really like the taste of meat. I liked everything else that it came with, if that makes sense. I liked salt, I liked the sauce, I liked the marinade, I liked the herbs, the spices, the oil that it was cooked in, the way it was cooked. That was what I really liked. I didn't like the taste of plain steamed chicken. However, if you do for some reason like the taste of plain steamed chicken, then I can assure you that your taste buds will change. You will not have these cravings forever. Naturally, we don't have protein receptors on our tongue. We aren't meant to find the taste of meat or raw meat appealing whatsoever. However, because it's something that we've done over years and years and years, we've grown accustomed to it, we know it as a dense source of calories, and we find it as a comfort food, so our body knows that. And yes, when you first cut it out, you're probably going to have some cravings. You might crave what you used to eat out of habits. As you change your diet, your taste buds will change along with it, and you will no longer have those cravings whatsoever. Trust me. And for the transitional period, there are plenty of vegan options out there that will leave you very satisfied. They taste like the real thing. It's kind of scary. As long as you're getting enough calories and sufficient nutrients, you're not going to be craving those foods. Those cravings will completely fade along with your bad habits. Number 5, convenience, tradition, and social acceptance. Now, as I said before, I got over 2,500 comments on my Instagram post, and although a lot of them were refuting the questions I've already covered, most of them were coming from a place of, oh, I would really like to, but, oh, my mum, oh, I'm Greek, so it's too expensive. And all of these things come back down to convenience, tradition, and social acceptance. These 3 things are very, very powerful, and if you're not careful, can completely control your life. I know it's going to be hard. I know it's going to be different. I know that it's going to probably turn your life upside down and inside out for the beginning of it. It might not be as cheap as buying, 2-minute noodles or frozen pizzas in the frozen aisle. However, it's definitely much more rewarding. Have you ever heard the expression, pay for it now or pay for it later? You can pay for it now in produce and fresh fruits and vegetables, or you can pay for it in the form of bills, medicine, hospital beds. Your choice. But saying that, I know plenty of people that live on a vegan diet, on a student budget, and they're thriving. Going vegan, I know it's going to be a challenge, but I can also tell you that it is 100% worth it. I think everyone that has gone vegan has struggled in some way or has overcome challenges or had obstacles at first. To be honest, I think the main reason why people allow convenience, tradition, and social acceptance to hold them back from making this change is because they haven't fully made the connection. They haven't fully made the connection to what animal products are and how they get to your plate and, what they once were. Because, of course, it's so easy. It was for me as well, to go to the supermarket and pick up a package and you don't know what that is or where it really came from. I mean, you do, but you don't really. You didn't see it happen. You've never done it with your own hands. Someone else is doing it for you. There's a reason why you can go strawberry and apple picking, but you can't go and kill your own meat because no one wants to do that. I can't really sit here and tell you exactly what these animals go through because, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to put that into words. The suffering and the pain and the life of suffering that they have in order to become our food, and we don't see it, so we don't really know. When I really made the connection and realized, oh shit, this is what's on my plate, I'm supporting this with my dollar every time I go in there and buy it, I couldn't do it anymore. I really couldn't do it. So I know it's hard. I know it's so confronting to look into what's happening. And a lot of people might come back and say, well, we're just doing it wrong. We need to kill them more humanely. They need to have a grass field to run around on. They need to, you know, have a nice life, and then we'll kill them humanely, and that will make it okay. Humanely killed? I mean, if I went up to you and I was like, oh, I'm just going to kill you really nicely, you won't feel a thing, and you've had a really nice life, so can I just kill you? You can't kill something humanely that doesn't want to die. The reason why slaughterhouses do it the way they do it is because it's time efficient and it's cost efficient, and it's what makes them the most money. We simply do not have enough land for all the animals to be running around freely because there's too many of us. There's too many of us eating animal products for that to be able to ever be a thing. Animal agriculture is the leading cause to global warming. It is so incredibly unsustainable. If we keep up this rate, we're going to have no rainforests left. We're going to have no water left. We're going to have no land left. We simply cannot keep this up. The world has no other option but to go vegan. Alright guys, I think I've rambled on enough here. Hopefully I've covered these topics in a way that has helped you understand why you can go vegan and you can most definitely thrive being vegan, and hopefully answered some of your questions that you were a little bit unsure of before. I'm going to link down so many resources down below, and I would love for you guys to check them out and educate yourself so that you can make your own informed decision whether or not you wish to keep supporting the meat and dairy industry with your dollar, because that's what matters at the end of the day. Your dollar is a vote for what you believe in. Every time you go to the shops, every time you go to the supermarket, every time you go to a restaurant, you're voting for what you believe in. You're saying, yes, this is okay, I want to support it. So please choose wisely what you want to support. I'm not saying you have to go vegan overnight. I'm not saying that you're going to get it right the first time. I'm just saying work towards it. Every little bit makes a difference. Regardless of your diet, I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. If you are thinking about going vegan, then leave a comment down below, and hopefully we can start a nice little supportive discussion down below for anyone wanting to try. And I'm also thinking of doing a series of why I don't eat meat, why I don't eat dairy, why I don't eat eggs, and why I don't eat fish. If you'd like to see 4 short videos about those kind of topics, please give this video a thumbs up so that I know that you like this kind of videos, and I will definitely do that for you guys. Alright, I'll see you next time guys. Bye!